I woke up this morning thinking about the situation we're in, thinking about the quarantine that we are dealing with, thinking about the pandemic that we're in. And it occurred to me that we are living in a moment in history that will be talked about forever. This moment in history, 100 years from now, will be taught in elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, and universities. It does not seem like a big deal right now because we are living in the moment. And in this moment, all we are thinking about is survival. And survival is important. We need to survive. But we also need to pass down information to our future generations, to our nephews and our nieces, to their children and their children. We owe it to them to not just exist in this moment in time. And I was thinking to myself that while I am sitting here trying to stay busy and keep my mind right and focus on the positive, there are a lot of things that I'm dealing with mentally that I'm sure that you're dealing with as well that can affect us. And when I say things that can affect us mentally, I'm talking about high anxiety, I'm talking about stress, I'm talking about depression, I'm talking about loneliness. These are all the things that when you are isolated can come to the forefront. But how are you dealing with that? How are you getting yourself through that? It's those intimate thoughts that you can write down or talk about that's going to help you, right? Because when you're by yourself, when you're sitting in your own energy, in your own thoughts, a lot of the times, the things that were already prevalent in our lives that we've been ignoring can no longer be ignored. They are now face to face with you. How are you going to document that? Because I guarantee you, when they were going through other pandemics, other moments in history, they too were only worried about trying to survive. And there was only a few people who documented their lives, who documented what they were going through. And then we read about those people in the books, right? You could be one of those people. Your moment in 2020, in this global pandemic, could possibly be something for Earth's history to be read about, to be taught about. But not if you don't write about it or blog about it or do videos about it. Do it. So this morning, I pulled out the old journal that I have no writings in whatsoever. And I said to myself, I'm going to start documenting my days. We should be figuring out a way to document our days, our thoughts, our moments, so that when history looks back on this moment, they have pieces of information that they can look at and say, look, this is what was going on in 2020. This is what was going on in March, April, May, June of 2020. This is what your great grandfather was going through. This is what your uncle was going through. This is what your young niece was going through. This is what your cousins and your fellow world human beings was going through. This is an important moment in time. And I hope that you are finding a way to document that. I hope that you start to write down your thoughts. Go and buy a journal and write down your thoughts. Write down the things that are bothering you. The things that are stressing you out. The things that you don't have. The things that you wish you had prepared for. These are the things that will be looked back in history as lessons. So you owe it to yourself to write or to do a video so that other people can look back in history and see what we were going through in that moment. Because they won't know if we don't document it. Sure, TVs and videos from news outlets will exist. And yes, I'm sure there would be some form of internet that can be researched on. But they won't have your story. And your story is what really matters. Your story is what really is going to get them to understand the bigger picture. Your story is what's going to give them that connection that they need from the past to help them get through the future. Go blog, go do videos. This is an important moment in history. And I hope that you understand that. And I hope that you're finding ways to get through the struggle that we are all going through together. Yeah. I'm not going to lose this time. I'm not going to miss this time. And neither should you.